Good morning, everyone. Certainly not a bad start to the morning in the city of Big Spring as high pressure is well off into the east, giving us a little bit more of that southeasterly flow, southerly flow as it's all going up and towards one of our next weather maker systems into the region. Right now, radar is not too bad, relatively clear. It has some kind of high level clouds traversing through the region, mostly along into our southern portions of the basin, with more of those 59 degrees walking out into Caprock, 50 in Hobbs, same type of deal running up in Andrews, but 10 degrees warmer into Millen. 60 degrees. Would you take a look at that as well in Big Lake at 62 degrees. More of a little bit of a breeze from still coming from the south-southeast, a little bit of some moisture with some 50s and 60s walking out the door. Pretty much uniform temperatures. It is pretty, we can definitely take that with more of those cooler temperatures pretty much along into the eastern portions of the basin, but definitely well warmer temperatures off into the west. That's where that dry line is pretty much more going to be set up, and we can kind of see where that kind of line is, and more drier off into the west, a little bit more moisture into the east with more of 89 into Millen, 90 into Odessa, with more of those kind of cooler temperatures across the Big Country and the Concho Valley, with more of those near 90s along into the northern portions of the Big Country, with more even of those low 80s down into the southern portions of the Concho Valley. That dry line is going to make a return heading into tomorrow. We have a fire weather watch for pretty much the Permian Basin, kind of well into the western portions where that dry line is going to set up pretty much where that cutoff is, and we are also going to be looking at another windy day of the forecast. But with that dry line setting up today, we may see a little bit of some small initiation of showers where we still have a little bit of that southerly to kind of like southeasterly flow, giving a little bit of moisture, but I still think that's going to be a low chance as we head into the evening. But here's kind of the bigger picture heading into more so our Thursday. Our dry line's going to set up nicely as a little bit more of that moisture flow off into the east, and with that we're going to be looking at some windy conditions as we head in throughout the much of the rest of the day. We can definitely see where those winds are going to be a bit more elevated into the Big Country and the Concho Valley along into the eastern portions of the basin, but that's going to flip around just a little bit as we head into tomorrow. More of those windier conditions are going to persist off into our western portions as that system's really making its approach by around Thursday 12 p.m. and really pick up as we head into the more evening hours, as our dry line's pretty much going to set shop here and giving more of those dry and windy conditions into the west and more of that moisture off into the east, hence why that fire weather warning is going to be off into the west. And I can even see the same thing heading into our Friday. I think that fire weather warning could be a little bit more off into the east, possibly as that dry line is going to advance eastward, and with that eastward advancement of the dry line, that is going to help set up base for that severe weather threat, because we're getting more of that moisture flow and all those ingredients in place brings in that chance of some severe weather. A level 2 out of 5 slight risk for the Big Country, a level 1 out of 5 slight risk for the Concho Valley. Gusts up there up to an inch of diameter could be possible, and gusts up to 60 miles per hour. But the thing is though, we are going to be looking still at a severe threat. It has shifted a little bit eastward. I'll show why in just a second, but here's our dry line that's going to be setting up, giving a little bit more of those initiation of storms off into the east. And I think we'll have a continued stormy pattern as we head into the overnight into Saturday morning. More so, that's where I think the greatest threat will be of that severe weather, but more so heading into our Saturday night, that's when we're going to have an earlier initiation of our system, pretty much not limiting fully of the rain chances into the Permian Basin, but I think those higher chances are going to be for the Big Country or Concho Valley as that pushes out. But relatively heading into Easter afternoon, it is going to be nice, but the main reason is we're looking at our two systems, and it's taking a little bit more of that northern track I kind of kept talking about throughout much of the week, which can limit some rain chances, puts us in that dry pocket. But we are still looking at those rain chances for the Big Country and Concho Valley. But at least by the time we head into Easter afternoon, I think, Victor, relatively, it should be pretty nice.